Today, we're looking deeper into the Canon M50. So today I'm going to be going into more detail into why I think you should get the Canon M50. Now I appreciate I've talked about this before, but if you're new to my videos, stick around because I'm going to be going into much more detail into why you should get the Canon M50. Things that I really love about this camera is the fact that it has its own turn screen. It's obviously a touch screen, but I love the fact it does that. Now you could say there's other cameras that do that, but I love the fact that this camera just does it so well. It has a very intuitive, easy to use menu, which is really nice to use. I love the fact it has a mic jack where, you know, with a lot more high-end cameras, they cost like twice the price of the Canon M50. You know, you're talking 800-900 quid. You can get this for about 400-500 now, and you can probably get it for second hand, which is, you know, it's worth the gamble. I found in the bottom of the camera, it's really easy to just open up, swap the batteries around. I'd highly recommend getting a few spare batteries, but you could say that with a lot of cameras. What I specifically like about this is it just seems to really last with its battery. It just seems to last a while. I've had quite a few days now over the past few months where I've been out and about with my camera and the battery seems to last a while. I might do 3 or 4 videos like this and the battery's still going strong. It's really nice to see, and I've had other cameras in the past where, you know, you take a few pictures and you're like, oh, battery's dead. So the camera's obviously takes very little power.
If you're getting value from this video and you're enjoying the content, please give us a like and a share and subscribe to this channel.
One of the great things about this little camera is its size. Now if you've got massive hands, you might not like it. I must admit, when I first got it, I was a bit like, oh god, it's a bit small, but it's brilliant. It's actually much more handy. It's easy to carry around. If you're out taking photos, you can just carry it more easily. You sort of semi-forget about it, where with a full-blown SLR, you know, a bigger one, you know, sometimes they're just a bit weighty and you're just like, oh, why did I bring this? Where with the Canon M50, it's just so small. It's not much heavier than a phone, to be honest. It has interchangeable lenses and there's plenty of lenses to choose from. The kit lens that comes with it is absolutely brilliant. The 15-45, yeah, I've got that right this time, is a brilliant kit lens. You get a really wide angle on both photos and video, which is great. I love the fact that it obviously goes into 45, so you can zoom in a bit, and obviously you could swap that around for any lens you want. Now, there are people out there that say, well, mirrorless cameras have less lenses, but I've been using one lens perfectly fine. Now, if I wanted to use my 300mm for my older camera, you can get an adapter. You can either get a sort of an unofficial one for about 25 quid, or you can get the full Canon one for about 100. Completely up to you. There probably isn't much difference, but I'll leave you to play around with that. But you know, so if you want the full range of lenses, I suppose what I'm getting at is, you know, you have that ability. This records in multiple stages of HD, which is great. You can play around with the settings, and it does record in 4K. Now, what I've heard is when you record in 4K, apparently it cuts the frame slightly, and you can only do 24 frames a second, which for some filmmakers might seem a bit slower, as most people like to record in sort of 28-30 frames a second, and where in HD you can record in the 30 or the full 60 and possibly even more. So, you know, just bear that in mind. But if I'm brutally honest, even now in 2020, I've recorded literally all my new videos in HD perfectly fine, and they reckon over 70% of people watch YouTube videos on their phones. And to be honest, most people probably can't really tell the difference if it's HD or 4K unless you tell them, just because the screens are so small. Now, one little cool thing I love about this, I love the fact the record red button on the top is an easy location, to take the picture. The sort of picture taking button is easy to get to. The settings are fairly straightforward, and what I really love about this camera as well is you can go into the really deep settings. Now obviously you can go into manual settings. You can really play around with, you know, the frame rate and the shutter speed and the ISO. Question of the day then: what camera do you use? Get yourself one of these, get value, and check out our new online merchandise. It is awesome. You can now support the brand by getting yourself one of our Get Value t-shirts, mugs, or any of the other merchandise I've been designing recently, and I'll be constantly updating and changing it as time goes on. The description is in the description. The link is in the description. You get the idea.